hoping to see Tyrion pull some cool moves out there, but hopefully not at the expense of his life.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely hoping for that, but I don't expect Tyrion as Khaleesi's advisor to do anything rash.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to go into battle, although I'm very hopeful for it. I think it would make for some strong comedic relief from the show, and for a rather intense scene. But but I'm not expecting anything from him really in terms of that. And about the Night King, I feel like we haven't learned much about him, and we're driven to think that he's all bad, and there's nothing really redeemable about him. Although I feel as though there's something more to that and something deeper to the story of the Night King. And I hope that in these next few episodes, the early ones, we're actually given some information. Maybe Sam and Bran can come to a different conclusion because they came up to one about Jon not being a bastard and actually being a Snow Targaryen hybrid. I'm hoping that they'll come to some similar realization about the Night King, and we're actually given more information about him.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of pretty crazy theories about the Night King that I've been thinking like on YouTube, like my recommended pages is pulling me deeper and deeper into it. But it's like there's questions like, oh, is the Night King a Stark? Is the Night King Bran Stark through the same kind of like telepath like that? Have you seen any of that?
Yeah, I have seen some of that, and I think that they're all interesting. Although I really hope that the show doesn't just like gloss over the Night King. I hope that it really goes in depth about him, especially in some of the first few episodes, so that we really have like maybe some ironic context for some of the battling that's going to go on. Because what if the Night King is actually like trying to help Westeros against Cersei? That'd be a pretty cool plot twist.
Yeah, we don't. That's the thing. We don't know what the Night King wants. Like we've heard so much about him, how crazy he is, how like he is so powerful and all that. But we don't. He's never said he's like, I'm coming to conquer the Seven Kingdoms. I'm coming to rule the world. I'm going to make an endless winter. We don't know what he said. I mean, he could be a perfectly nice guy. I mean, it could be wishful thinking. All right. Yeah. Now we're just going to quickly run through here some more minor characters, of course. The Mountain, a.k.a. Gregor Clegane, not our favorite Clegane. Thanks to Season 5 efforts of Qyburn, the Mountain, who is slowly dying from being wounded by Oberyn Martell's venom-tipped spear after their eye-popping duel in Season 4, is now a changed man who serves Cersei's silent and possibly undead bodyguard. He's creepy, and very quiet, and very into protecting Cersei. Will not speak until all Cersei's enemies are wiped from the earth, and I'm pretty sure that will mean he'll be silent for a long time. So Euron Greyjoy, he fought and won against Dany's allies and Cersei's enemies. The Sand Snakes and Euron's niece, Yara Greyjoy. Euron killed two of the Sand Snakes, then delivered Ellaria Sand, the snake's mother, the last surviving snake, to Tyrene Sand, to Cersei, while keeping Euron prisoner. At the end of Season 7, he was sent back to Cersei to transport the Golden Company back to King's Landing. All right, finally, we're going to get to my favorites. One of my favorite characters, Bronn of the Blackwater. Bronn saved Jaime from becoming barbecue after Jaime tried to take down the dragon and the Dragon Queen himself. He shot Daenerys' dragon with a scorpion as well, one of the large dragon skin piercing crossbows the Lannister army has. It didn't really work, though. Night King was way more effective on that front. But his relationship with Jaime and the fact that he fought on Cersei's side doesn't necessarily mean he's loyal. He explained to Tyrion that he's loyal to himself in the Season 7 finale and whoever's paying him, which seems like Cersei for now. I think we'd all love to see a Tyrion-Bronn reunion here on the side of Daenerys. Like, that's what would be right.
Yeah, I would definitely like that. And a little touch on the loyalty of Bronn of the Blackwater to Jaime. I feel like that's not all monetary, and I think that he's just saying that in order to justify to himself that he's not like friends with Jaime, but I think that they're actually pretty loyal and friendly. And when Bronn saved Jaime, he said that it was just for money and that if he died, he wouldn't get any more money, yada yada. But I feel like that's not all it is, and I feel like there's a deeper connection that is probably going to be revealed, and I hope that their development as two characters and their bond goes deeper this season. I hope we guys see more of that.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting, though, because I'm not necessarily sure that's all true, because he had, if you think about it, right, the same bond with Tyrion, and he kind of abandoned him pretty quickly, which is like you hate to see it, but it's unfortunately a reality of being a sellsword. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Bronn the Blackwater. But yeah, I'm sure we will expect some more comedic relief from him, because that's just who he is. He's kind of a funny guy. I don't know if you knew that. So all right, we now turn to our next character in the rundown. Our next two, Randall, and probably my favorite name in the show, Dickon Tarley. I mean, it's very immature of me, but I just can't help but laughing every time we hear a Dickon here. They were captured during Daenerys' assault and refused to bend the knee, so they were burned alive. Bye-bye. All right. Arya Stark. She's back in Winterfell after exacting revenge on her family's enemies. See Walder Frey and the Freys. She finally reunited with her sister, and they satisfyingly bested Littlefinger by surprising the manipulator, charging him with treason, and slashing his throat. Going into Season 8, they're awaiting their brother Jon's return with his new friend, the Dragon Queen. So yeah, that should be interesting for Arya Stark. She's going to be... I mean, we saw her in the trailer. I'm sure you've seen the trailer.
Yeah.
Kind of running through a battle scene. Like, we do know she's going to play a major, major role in Season 8.
Yeah, Arya is definitely one of my favorites, man. I mean, she's just so badass, and she just clutches in all of the most harsh times. I don't think anybody liked how Littlefinger manipulated Sansa into doing his bidding for him. And I really liked all that episode when it showed Arya like sneaking into his room and putting it away. And I like how he thought that he bested Arya when he saw her doing that. But in the end, the sisters prevailed, and it was pretty, as you said, satisfying to see that happen and see Arya actually best Littlefinger, a master of traits, in his work at his own thing. And I think that just goes into the deeper reality of how awesome she is right now, because not only is she an irredeemably amazing assassin, but she also has the skills to outwit Littlefinger himself, who brought himself up from nothing to a brothel owner and a man of very much significance.
Master of coin for a long time.
Yeah, master of coin. A lot of, like, he brought himself up from nothing to almost to a very significant position in the government, and to see Arya, such a young girl who's already such a gifted assassin, who I dare say bested Brienne, even though she may have been holding back in a duel.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
And she outwitted Littlefinger in his own game. I feel as though we should be expecting a lot more from her.
Yeah, but she's hand of the queen or king material, in my opinion. Yeah, I think we will definitely be expecting a lot more from her if she dies. Honestly, yeah, like she probably contributed to one of the most satisfying moments of the show for me when she paid the Freys back. One of my favorite quotes in that scene is like, she has the pie and she's serving it, and Walder Frey is like, "Where are my sons?" And she's like,
"Yeah," and
she's like, "They're here, my lord." And she opens up the pie, and it's like the meat of their cut up like body. Like, oh, that's like, I mean, it's disgusting if you don't know about the Red Wedding.
I think it was disgustingly satisfying.
Yeah, yes, that's a great way of putting it. Because like I was in preparation for the season, I've been watching some of the biggest scenes, obviously, in the show, and all the Red Wedding, just like the anguish and all like it's just so soul crushing to see them, all the Freys fall down, and to see the look on Walder's face when he sees his Stark smiling up at him as he dies. It's nothing sweeter than that. And Arya Stark, literally a teenager, like. That's pretty incredible stuff. As you said, she has nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, probably one of the biggest characters that we're going to be looking at is Jon Snow. He was resurrected by Melisandre in Season 6 and almost needed dark magic again in Season 7. Jon wanted to convince Cersei of the Night King's impending invasion and participated in a pretty silly plan to bring a white back to King's Landing to show that the undead army is real. While on the expedition, he was overwhelmed and nearly killed, but Dany showed up and saved the day with the 3 dragons the Night King killed and zombified one of them. After all that trouble, Jon Davos and the company finally showed Cersei the said white, and Cersei pretty much lied. Like, I think at this point, guys, I think we have to understand who Cersei is. She's not the type of girl to help out ever. Like, she's kind of annoying in that way. Also in season 7, John bent the knee to Dany, and they began a romantic relationship with her. Part of the reason she saved him and trusted him was that she had feelings for him, as we were able to find out. However, it's unclear if this relationship will continue when John finds out that he is actually Daenerys' nephew. Obviously, it's a long story. We know the story of their parentage. John actually is the mother of Aegon.
John's a mother.
John's the son of Lyanna Stark and what's his name? Rhaegar Targaryen.
Yeah.
So that was pretty shocking stuff. Ned lied about John to protect John's life because John is the son of Lyanna and Rhaegar, and probably Robert would have killed him because he was just a reminder of the fact
that, for sure. Robert would have definitely killed him. In possibly like a very brutal way, even though he was such a young child at that point in his life.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder what is really going to happen to his relationship. Will he even find out? Will the news even reach him? How will it reach him? If they see him with Khaleesi, will they? And that he already bent the knee. Would they even tell him the information? Like, to see all of that play out is going to be one of my favorite. It's going to be one of my favorite parts of watching this next season, the final season.
John and Daenerys coming back to Winterfell, and John, the King of the North, who's been gone a long time, not making his people very happy, is coming back with a Targaryen. Like, that's going to be a hard burden for him to prove.
Not only a Targaryen that he actually bent the knee to as well.
Yes.
That is going to be.
Yes.
That is going to be like pretty brutal to his people, and I wonder how his people are going to react to that. If they're going to be mad, if they're going to be accepting, especially the lords. How the lords are going to take it. John,
they may just turn out to say Sansa and say, Sansa, we want you now. But yeah, it's like they were very close to changing hands when John was just gone. The fact that he comes back with bent the knee to a Targaryen, it's going to be a tough sell. It's going to be a tough sell. It'll be very interesting to see how he is able to do that. So yeah, they're on their way to Winterfell at this point in time. Sansa Stark, big journey for her throughout the course of Game of Thrones over the past 7 seasons. She had to deal with Cersei's cruelty, Joffrey's just immature vileness, Ramsay's insane, horrific abuse, and Littlefinger's manipulation. She's never really had a day in the show where she's not under really imminent threat from one of those psychopaths. But as she explains to Littlefinger before sentencing to death at the end of Season 7, she's learned some lessons from each horrible person, and it's how she realized that Littlefinger was a traitorous snake, and it's likely how also likely why she isn't outwardly confident in her little brother's team to plan to team up, or not her little brother, but her older brother's, Jon's plan to team up with Daenerys and defeat the Night King. Because we as viewers know what Sansa's been through, we are more willing to trust her than Jon when she warns him that Cersei is more fearsome than the Night King. I don't know. Have you seen the Night King? Unlike Sansa, he hasn't quite experienced Cersei's dastardly manipulations or ferociousness firsthand. Jon left Sansa in charge when he left to meet Dany at Dragonstone, and going to Season 8, though Jon clearly trusts some other dragons, it's going to be tough. Again, tough sell to get Sansa to trust her. And I feel like Sansa, she has incredible amounts of growing and maturing that she's done over the course of the seasons. And she's learned how to be she went from being someone who just wanted to be the tacit, quiet queen to someone who wanted to really assert herself and rule and lead.
Yeah, there's not much more that I can say about that. I mean, I think that definitely each character in the plot has helped her grow in her own into her own mature self, and she's grown into a very respectable woman, and how all of the lords respected her 100%. I thought that was pretty heartwarming, but yeah, there's not much more to say about that one.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how she leads Winterfell and interacts with all these new faces that'll be coming to town. She need to meet Daenerys, and She's gonna see Tyrion again. That'll be all interesting stuff.
Yeah, I wonder how Jon is gonna react when he sees badass Arya just completely